Right, hello folks, Gordon here, hope all is well with you. So I've let this first bit dry. It's come out quite nicely, I quite like it actually. The camera is not really... yeah, okay, that's a bit more... It's not a metallic, it isn't metallic, it looks metallic when I put it at that angle, but I wanted to get the sort of the brightness of the colour. Yeah, I quite like that, and it's fairly accurate to the tube. It says green, which is helpful to a certain extent because it is a green. To be honest, if I shut my eyes and think of green, I'm not entirely sure that's the colour that I would come up with, but it is a green. At least it hasn't come out blue. Put it like that from a tube that says green. Got to have some standards, so I can do a bit more. Now, always got to be careful with these doodle ones to make sure that I paint on the right side of the line. Because I'm going to be doing green on one side of the line, and then I might leave it as the green and white, or I might paint it with another colour. I did say I was intending to paint it with another colour, and I still am intending to do that. But if you follow my paintings for any length of time, you'll know that what I intend to do and what I actually end up doing are often quite different things. Right. Now, what I have noticed is from the first bit I did, is that this particular paint, this brand of paint, I'm just trying to think where I got this. Oh, it was out of Pound. I think it was out of Poundland, you know. I think it was from Poundland. I got this set. So cheap and cheerful is that it's not very thick. Unlike me, you might be shouting, harsh. So I've got to go over it a few times. The paint that I've been using for a few years, which gives me the nice buttery texture if I want it, I can always thin it down from Arteza, that's how you pronounce it. I thought it was a European brand, but it's actually an American brand. Because that's thicker, it's more consistent in colour. Because this one's thinner, I've got to make sure that I'm brushing enough to get a consistent coverage of the colour. So it's a bit of a battle between the consistency of colour and getting the coverage. And of course I've got to tell you, in Poundland, it used to be that everything was under £1. But I got all those paints and the brushes and a palette, which I didn't really need, but I will use. How much was it? It was either £3 or £4, which, although not £1, was good value, I thought. Now you see there, I've gone a bit too thick because I've got a bit of texture and I don't actually want the texture. Mind you, the texture won't hold with this paint. Dee, 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 dee. This is, now did I felt like I put my hand on the canvas then. I normally pick a section that I'm going to do that I know that I can do without putting my hand on something that is wet. Obviously I've already painted that bit. I've let it dry. Otherwise I've got to risk putting my hand on the painting, or use one of those, what's those things that the painters use, which is like a broom handle with a knob on the end that they rest on it, so that they rest it on it like that so they can paint on it. I can't remember what it's called. Well, I'm saying I can't remember what it's called. I'm not sure I ever knew what it was called. What is it called? Someone can help me out with that. You can buy them, of course. The art supply industry is massive. They'll be able to sell me an expensive one. Or a lot of artists just make their own. Or, I don't know if a lot of artists do this, but this is what I do. I just make sure I paint a bit, I let it dry and paint a bit I haven't painted on. Now, of course, some different type of paintings. Got to concentrate on that bit. You don't want to let bits dry, you want to maybe do it all in once. I'm thinking that it ends with a zul, bezel or swizzle or something like that. Something stick. Now this brush, it's not quite fine enough. I just want to get right into this bit. Concentrate, Gordon, concentrate. Gone a little bit over into the black. It's alright. It's not. I've realised that as I'm thinking I might go more into, have a bit of a doodle journey into 2025. Going over the black a bit is not the end of the world, because the eye is drawn to the design as a whole, the combination of the doodle and the colour or colours as a whole, rather than whether I've gone over the line by 0.5 millimetre there, for example. Well, I hope that's what happens when you look at them, that you're drawn by the actual doodle and colours, rather than thinking, oh, he's gone over the line a bit there. And secondly, with the rise of AI, and particularly artists being up in arms about the rise of AI, it's definitely a reminder that it's done by a person if I've gone over the line a bit. Okay, how long have I been going? 8 minutes, so I shall stop this one now. That's a nice little section done. I'll let that dry, come back and I'll see you in the next one.